Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Adam Schefter has reported the Saints releasing running back Latavius Murray.
Murray, present.
Tweeting this just a bit ago. Apparently the Saints asked Murray for a pay reduction. He refused. And Schefter notes that Murray is coming off his best season. 4.5 yards a carry, 7.7 yards per reception. So Latavius Murray.
Murray, present.
No longer a member of the New Orleans Saints. The Saints initially kept 4 running backs. And now with Alvin Kamara, Tony Jones, Latavius Murray.
Murray, present.
We're just going to milk it, man, because it's going to... And then Dwayne Washington. So now, no Latavius Murray.
Murray, present.
Means you have 3 running backs going into the season opener with Alvin Kamara, Tony Jones Jr., and Dwayne Washington, who, of course, is primarily a special teams player. Let's see if maybe they add anybody else here. But I can't say, honestly, that this is a tremendous surprise. If you watch the preseason, it was and there was only 2 games, but it was just abundantly clear that Tony Jones Jr. was a running back on the come. He had a dominant opener in that game against Baltimore. And I understand that it's preseason, but Latavius Murray,
present,
looked a step slow. And I do not blame the Saints for making Murray no longer present.
Murray, present.
See what it did?
Yeah, I got it.
See what it did?
I saw it.
Because he's
Heard
not
it.
here anymore.
He's gone.
No longer present. I'm okay with it. I really think, barring no injury, and if you're going to keep 4 quarterbacks with Jameis, Taysom, Ian Book, and Trevor Siemian, you got to free up a roster spot somewhere. Well, and ultimately, the 2 wire transactions were releasing Latavius Murray.
Murray, present.
And adding Desmond Trufant. So, I like adding Desmond Trufant. They worked him out on Monday, and they signed him today on Tuesday. He's 30 years old, but his birthday is on September the 10th, so in 3 days, he's going to be 31. Played the first 7 years of his career with the Atlanta Falcons, played last year with Detroit, played just 6 games with Detroit. But there are a lot of reasons why I like this decision. Number 1, how many times have I mentioned to you, Sean Payton loves him some NFC South guys. Run down the list, you know them all. If it's Curtis Lofton, Jameis Winston, if it's Kurt Coleman or A.J. Klein, or even this year, they brought Brian Poole in, who had spent time with the Falcons, Devontae Freeman, now Desmond Trufant. He knows them. They know him. He knows the division. Last year, he was with the Lions. Now, he was only active for 6 games. And incidentally, he was not active against Green Bay in either of the 2 games against the Packers. But he certainly schemed, certainly game planned, certainly practiced against Aaron Rodgers in that offense. So you got a guy who you know him very well and what his skill set is, who he certainly knows you and your personnel very well, who spent last year in Detroit in the same division against Green Bay, who you play week 1, who in his career has started 103 games, made a Pro Bowl back in 2015, has 14 career interceptions. It gives you an option. Maybe Ken Crawley is a better option than Desmond Trufant. Maybe. Or maybe Trufant comes in this week of practice with fresh legs and beats out Ken Crawley, and everyone can fall back into their own more comfortable spots in nickel and dime roles with Crawley and P.J. Williams, and you got C.J. Gardner-Johnson back there as well. And when I look at it, maybe the best news of all is we've all been talking about this opening week game with the assumption that Marshon Lattimore wasn't going to be there. And a couple of weeks ago, I told you, I said, look, guys, when I went and actually read the NFL policy, the personal conduct policy, it's it's black and white that because this is a nonviolent crime involving Marshon Lattimore and because his personal record had been clear prior, they could just elect to fine him. And they're certainly waiting to see what happens legally with this case before they leverage or levy any punishment against him. So I feel much different. I like the idea of Marshawn Lattimore against Davante Adams on Sunday. I like it a hell of a lot better than Ken Crawley or Paulson Adebo. We can all agree on that. That's a matchup that I don't know that you win it every time, but I feel much better about it. And on the other side, I mean, look, Marquez Valdez-Scantling had 33 catches for 690 yards last year. Alan Lazard had 33 for 451. And some of those guys have had breakout games where teams just give so much attention to Davante Adams and it allows the other guys to break out. But, man, I like the combination of the Saints secondary with what you have in nickel and dime packages when you can roll C.J. Garner-Johnson in as a nickel safety and you can roll out P.J. Williams in a dime and you know you got Marcus Williams back there as well if you're trying to cover backs and tight ends. I mean, I like this Saints defense. I mean, the concern is that they lost so many guys in the defensive front seven, but now you've added Montravius Adams sort of as a supplemental piece. We're going to see Cam Jordan. We're going to see if a guy like Marcus Davenport can finally emerge and stay healthy. There's a lot really to like if Peyton Turner's healthy. And then we find out the news that Quan Alexander is going to be a go in the opener. Quan Alexander was meeting with the media on Monday, and this was as brief and direct an interaction as you can imagine.
You do expect to play this week?
Yeah, I'm playing this week for sure.
So Quan says, I'm playing this week for sure. Sean Payton clarified that this was always their target.
I don't know that we looked at games and, we're still going to meet relative to, how we want to approach this first game. But I don't know that we set an immediate goal like the first game of the season, the second game. We set a course on how we wanted him to return gradually to play, and we'll continue to do that.
It's an astonishing recovery for Quan Alexander. In basketball, the Achilles is sometimes considered a career ender. Look at Boogie Cousins. Now, there are exceptions. Kevin Durant's come back from an Achilles. Kobe came back from an Achilles. Rudy Gay came back from an Achilles. So there are exceptions. But when you're that big and strong and fast, and it's that type of explosive movement, the Achilles in basketball is sometimes career-ending. And you look at it in football sometimes that way as well, especially with larger men. But remember, Sheldon Rankins back in the 2018 season in the divisional round playoff game against the Eagles, he ruptured his Achilles. He was back the following year, the 2019 season, in week number 4, which was September the 29th. So he ruptured his Achilles on January 13th. He was back in September. I mean, he's back 9 months later. So we have seen these types of recoveries before, even with bigger men. If Quan really is healthy, it's just a massive addition, because I look at this and I say, man, that allows Bond and that allows Werner to continue to develop and to be role players. Think of that 2018 defense when DeMario Davis came over, was an all-pro caliber interior lineman. A.J. Klein played opposite Quan Alexander, had 70 tackles that year. And when Alex Anzalone was healthy and played a full 16 games, he had 59 tackles that year. He was your third down back. He was a rotational guy, but you had 3 guys you trusted to get out on the field. You didn't trust Anzalone to be a starter, but he supplemented you. That allows you to do the same thing with Bond or with Pete Werner, and I like them in that role much better than a starter next to Quan Alexander when they've never done it before. So a lot of good things for the Saints. Obviously, being displaced sucks. There's no way around that. They're practicing in Fort Worth. They're going to play a home game in Jacksonville. There's not going to be many people there. It's going to be a sterile environment. That sucks relative to what it would normally be in the Dome if the Packers were coming in. But the positive is, because it's in Jacksonville, you're not going to have a ton of Packers fans either, and the opener this year might feel, quite honestly, a lot like games last year felt for the New Orleans Saints, something that they're used to. But bringing in Desmond Trufant, getting Quan Alexander back, all things considered, with the way the offseason went, I'm not sure you could hope for a better situation with your roster, all things considered, than you have right now, because you're going to have Marshawn Lattimore, you're going to have Deontay Harris, you've got Quan back, and these were all giant question marks that we thought maybe at the beginning of the season you weren't going to have. So Saints, Packers on Sunday. The line's climbed. It's 4.5. Packers 4.5. But Saints are looking like they might be in a spot where they can give their best swing to Green Bay in week 1. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.